Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. Today, I've got one big headline about CoreWeave wanting to buy Core Scientific. We will dive into that one after we get you prepped for some success today. You know, like always, I got that stock heat map pulled up. We're seeing a little bit of red from yesterday's close, but we're seeing some light green in the pre-market this morning. We've got Apple sitting down 1.69% from yesterday, looking towards the upside this morning, looking quite neutral so far though, up 0.1. We've got Nvidia sitting down 0.69, looking to the upside this morning with a little more strength, up 0.86. We've got Berkshire Hathaway no longer sitting on as much cash as they have been, sitting down 1.44% from yesterday, looking towards the upside this morning, up 0.1%. We've got Amazon sitting up 0.03% and looking towards the upside this morning, up 0.42% as Prime Day deals start rolling out. We'll be watching that one this week. Runs from the 8th to the 11th. So there have been quite mixed results on Prime Day, but expect to see a lot of sales. We do have Eli Lilly down 1% from yesterday, looking towards the upside with some light buying pressure, up 0.06. We've got ExxonMobil sitting down 0.97 and continuing to see that selling pressure this morning, down 0.41. For Tesla, we saw a very red day yesterday, down 6.79%. Looking towards the upside this morning though, seeing some decent buying pressure, up 1.23. PNG sitting down 0.21% and continuing to see a little bit of selling pressure this morning, down 0.11. We've got Microsoft down 0.22 and seeing some very light buying pressure this morning, up 0.01. We've got Google sitting down 1.66 and seeing that light buying pressure this morning, up 0.34. We've got Meta down 0.09%, so looking quite neutral on that close, but seeing that buying pressure stepping on in this morning, up 0.66%. Let's hop over to the crypto side of things, and we're looking quite red there as well. We are seeing a few outliers with like BCH, XRP, XLM, and Shiba in the green. Just light green though. We are seeing that hourly looking quite green as well. We do have Bitcoin down 0.3%, Ethereum down 0.6%, XRP up 0.3%. We've got BNB sitting down 0.2%. We've got Solana down 1.1%. Tron looking quite neutral this morning. We've got Doge sitting down 1.4%, Cardano down 1%. We've got Hyperliquid down 4.1%. We've got SWI down 0.8%. Bitcoin Cash up 0.6%. We've got Chainlink down 2.1%. Leo token down 0.2%. Stellar Lumens up 0.9%. We've got Avalanche down 1.6%. Shiba Inu up 0.1%. We've got TON sitting down 1.3%. And HBAR still holding that number 20 from Litecoin, sitting down 1.4%. For those fear and greeds this morning, we are sitting in greed. We've got the crypto side, the stock market side, with no change on that after we saw a little bit of some red on that close, but looking quite green this morning. Crypto side of things, still sitting in that greed. Down 8 points from that 70s yesterday. After we saw a little bit of a downside liquidity grab, we did talk about that potentially happening if we couldn't hold some of the levels we were watching yesterday. We do have liquidity on both sides of us this morning, just like yesterday, but it's quite a bit hotter. We do have that liquidity up at $110,000 and some residing directly below us at that $107,000 mark. That's that 3-day, 1-day looking quite similar there, with the top side being a lot hotter at that $110,000 mark. Let's zoom that on out. Take a look at that 2-week. 2-week looking quite similar to yesterday, but getting quite a bit hotter on that $110,000 mark. So quite a bit of liquidity towards the top side, and it's getting hotter after we grabbed a bunch of that bottom side liquidity yesterday. Zoom this on out. Take a look at that 1 week or that 1 month, and we've got that liquidity really piling up here at the top side, ranging from $110,000 all the way up to that $112,000 high. So quite a bit of a zone on that 1 month to grab on the top side once we clear out a little more of that bottom side liquidity. Let's hop back over to TradingView, pull up that Bitcoin chart because we don't have a lot of data today to really go over. We won't be having anything until later in the week when we get that FOMC minutes. So let's hop over to the chat this morning and see what we got going on. We got Jesse Gluck in here first. We've got Crypto Billy in here as well, and J Violet number 3. Good morning to all of you. Hope you're having a great day. Let's scroll it on down, see who else we got. We got Dylan VA. Says, hi all, have a good day. Hope you have a good day as well. We've got JR in the chat. Good morning to you, sir. I saw you were up bright and early, just like me. Getting to those charts, making that money. Let's see, scrolling on down, we've got Jesse Gluck saying, Billy, I missed my morning motivational video. What happened to it yesterday? Yeah, when we redirected over to it, I saw the time was a little bit different. Let's see, JR, BC, are you going to add my line I wrote for the intro? Step 5 to be a legend like JR. I'd also accept step 5 to be a ninja like JR. You pick. If we get you on the show for a guest appearance, I will throw that in there someday. We've got K Diggity in the chat. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day so far. Jesse, it will be back next week, same time. Got behind, trying something new. But it will go back. Created over 160 videos already. Lots of work for a hobby. I know what you're saying there, Billy. There's quite a bit of work for a hobby here. Let's see, anything else? We got Darren Does Things saying good morning all. And Caliphant, I'm up late, 2 a.m. in Alaska. Well, I appreciate you coming in before you get to bed there, Caliphant. And let's see, damn, you sleep, JR? Sometimes, and then sometimes he absolutely gets no sleep, and he's awake when I go to bed and awake when I wake up. He is on the charts all the time there. Let's zoom this Bitcoin chart in just a little bit, get a better look here at that MACD. As it's continuing to get some rollover here, we do have this potential resistance above us, but we do have all of that liquidity that's residing between this golden pocket fib extension and our all-time highs. So potential for a liquidity sweep towards the upside if we can clear out the bottom side liquidity that's residing right below us all over again, and then really hold this 108.200 as some strong support. That's that area I talked about the other day. We still have those 2 bearish divergences that have stacked up, and our money flows still sitting in the red here on the daily. Kind of waiting to see if we get that hold up of Bitcoin's price here with some hold up of the liquidity as well. Our liquidity has been a little bit low, but it started to make a return here as we approached these higher levels of $108,000. It is remaining quite steady here at that $108,000 mark. So we're going to have to watch to see if that money flow switches from red to green. Let's zoom this back on in to that 4 hour, see what we're looking at there as we are getting that curvature back up. We've got that MACD looking back towards the upside here, looking to potentially break that zero line back above that indicator line here if we can get that positive money flow. Your money flow is in the red here. You can kind of see it heading back down, but our volumes looking quite nice, holding quite steady here on the 4 hour as well. Getting that curvature back towards the upside on the prime oscillator. We do have that resistance that is right above us at that $110,000 mark, which is where that liquidity is, and our golden pocket fib extension. So kind of a few areas coming together at that top side that we might look for some resistance at. Let's take a look at that 1 hour and see what the day might be bringing our way here. We've got that prime oscillator getting a little hot here as our money flow still stays in the red, but your volume's just starting to increase on this hourly after that nice little bit of a slowdown and some sideways action from the weekend into yesterday. We did get that nice grab of bottom side liquidity here at that $108,000 mark. We've still got a little bit residing right below us that we can definitely grab with this sideways action on both the MACD and the prime oscillator here. Looking to at least hold this 108,200 to get that grab of $110,000. If we don't hold this area for the morning, I would look back down to grab that bottom side and then make our way back up towards that 108,200 to grab that top side at 110 and ranging all the way up to where we see those all-time highs on Bitcoin. Let's take a look at that 15-minute and the morning here. We do have the MACD and the prime oscillator looking back towards the upside here. Prime oscillator sitting in the light red as money flow just breaking back into some buying pressure here this morning. Volume looking quite nice and holding quite steady. MACD above our indicator line, but has that potential to break below if this money flow does dip back into the red. This is where I'd look for that holdup of 108,200 to see if we grab that top side first or if we grab the bottom side first. If we don't really hold this old high from at the beginning of the range, then I would look for that sweep to the bottom side first and then that grab of top side liquidity. If we hold this first, then I would look towards the upside and then back towards the downside and see this potentially be a sideways range for a little bit. Kind of what I'm looking for the morning. Let's see what we got in the chat. Magnets for Joe, says Jesse. Drop those magnets if you got them, and we'll do the same. Let's see. Let's get that magnet. There we go. Dropping it in the chat for you there. We've got DDT is a tea drinking beast. I know it. We've got someone new in there. Christoph DN. Good morning to you. Let's see what else we got in there. I woke up at 11:30 a.m. today. Dang, Jesse got some sleep. Much better rested than I am. I got about 4.5 hours. I missed the London sleeping, kinda sad, but I was in trades and woke up in profit, so kinda happy as well. Well, that's the best way to do it. I like to trade that Asia by putting in a trade and then going to bed and waking up in profit or maybe a little bit down and then still catching that morning move. K Diggity saying, I hear you, Billy. I got one on the dash and I love it, but there's no way I'm getting to the window shot as well. Oh, talking about those videos he does. Let's see. We got any alt requests for the morning? I just got that one news article I was going to go over. I did want to start that live trading, but because I keep absolutely no money on exchange, I gotta wait for my bank to clear my USDC transfer before I can move that over to Blowfin. So give me another day or two for that to clear with Coinbase, and then we will start that live trading. So might take a day or two. I keep absolutely no money on exchange because I keep all my money in a cold wallet. So that's a little bit of a hamper there. We've got ADA and Sol requested. I will get those on the list. So here, sometime this week, we will get that live trading going and we will make some decisions together. On that, we will not be doing degen coins though. So I'm going to stick with top 20 tokens that we can all trade together that have a decent amount of liquidity together that we can actually get in and get out on. That's something I've noticed on those more degen tokens. You don't always have the liquidity to get in and get out. So we want to take more long-term trades here so that we can trade together in the morning, let that ride until the next day, and then make that decision together on if we continue that trade or if we take some profits and then look for something else. Yes, Jesse, no degen coins. This is my show and I don't degen. So y'all are going to trade with me. We're going to stick with those top 20. There's a lot of coins in the top 20 to really choose from that we can trade together with a lot of liquidity. So as K Diggity said, there's nothing wrong with the top 20, Jesse. Yeah, you still get those explosive moves, and if we really want those those nice gains, we can up that leverage just a little bit. So you don't want to trade with like 20x leverage on a poopy doopy coin, as Darren Does Things says, but you can trade with some 20x leverage on, like, say, ADA. And you get massive gains if it moves 1.5% towards the upside or the downside, depending on what kind of trade you're in. Let's hop over to that news article for the morning. We got CoreWeave to acquire Core Scientific in a $9 billion all-stock deal. Artificial intelligence cloud infrastructure CoreWeave said Monday it plans to buy Core Scientific, a data center infrastructure operator. Let's hop into the article here. Artificial intelligence oriented cloud infrastructure company CoreWeave said Monday it will acquire Core Scientific, a data center infrastructure provider, in an all-stock deal valued at approximately $9 billion. CoreWeave stock fell 3% in a Monday trading session, while Core Scientific stock slid nearly 18%. Shares of both companies rallied at the end of June after the Wall Street Journal reported that talks were underway for an acquisition. I think that, like many things that we do, it takes the market some time to internalize the value proposition that we are presenting to the market and how it all fits together. CoreWeave CEO Mike Intrador told CNBC in an interview. In the presentation to investors, CoreWeave said that the move will eliminate $10 billion in future lease obligations and significantly enhance operating efficiency. We're not paying rent for the next 15 years, Intrador said. The transaction is expected to close fourth quarter of 2025, pending regulatory and shareholder approval. We will be watching this one quite heavily. Do have both of these pulled up on TradingView, so we'll take a look at both of those stocks. Let's see. You're a scalp trader, BC. I am not a scalp trader. I am a swing trader. I like to focus on the big moves. I'm not so worried about those small moves in the middle of the big move. So sometimes there's not always that move to take, but you can ride it out for several days. So if you had shorted from up here and then we continue to grab that bottom side liquidity today, that would be that move for the bottom side. And let's see, that would be if we grab that bottom side all the way down here, about a 2.5% move towards the downside with a little bit of leverage. And you do that on, say, a lower top 20 coin, you might get about 3 to 5% towards the downside, and that's a nice move to make. So that's kind of gonna be what we're doing here. That way we can trade early in the morning and then come back to it the next day and make those decisions together. Look at Circle stock. We can definitely take a look at Circle as well. We've got Circle pulled up on that list. We did want to take a look at CoreWeave and CORZ. Those are going to be those two stocks to watch with that news article here. You do see CoreWeave holding up the 236 on our fib retracement quite nicely. It is cooling down both these MACD and prime oscillators quite nicely with this sideways momentum it's been doing on top of the 236. Money flow still in the red, volume looking quite nice here as it maintains in the green. So looking for that potential of that 236 to be touched all over again. Might see a little more downside if we break that 236 and come all the way back down towards that 382. That's kind of what I'd watch for this 236 to either be this support area or be turned back into some resistance where we saw it back up here. We got that brief break above it and then drop below it to kind of struggle to maintain that before we got that stronger move towards the upside there. For CoreWeave, or for Core Scientific, we are back in an old fair CME gap here. We did a break towards the downside, almost touched all the way to close it. We did see this coming back up towards our 50% line on our fib extensions here before we made that touch on our golden pocket fib extension. Let's get this actually a little bit better because that is closed after that quick move towards the upside. There we go, that one's closed. We do have the CME gap towards the top side of us that we'd look at potentially closing. It does look like the pre-market is trading pretty close to our close from yesterday, so looking like we might see a little more continuation towards the downside here as we are looking at that 50% line on our fib extensions to kind of be our support area here before we make that move back up towards our golden pocket fib extension, which we rejected off of quite heavily yesterday. That's going to be $16.05 there. We do have both the MACD and the prime oscillator getting that rollover from yesterday, looking towards the downside, and the downside here with very, very heavy overbought signals and a secondary reversal signal flashing on this daily as money flow gets that rollover and the volume is slowing down. This was a big boost on their price from that initial announcement that they might be acquired by CoreWeave, and we're kind of looking for that nice little cool down before we get that continuation back up towards our platinum pocket on the fib extensions, and that's at 1874. So looking to at least hold up this $14.19, which is that midline of our fib extensions, and then make our way back up towards that golden pocket. Let's zoom this on in, take a look at that hourly. This hourly, as you can see, is trying to maintain the bottom side of this CME gap that we made from the other day, but we are holding up the midline of the old CME gap quite nicely here. Zooming on in a little bit more, you can kind of see we're getting some sideways momentum here on the MACD and the prime oscillator, but that money flow's starting to come out just a little bit, and these divergences have played out quite nicely. That doesn't mean that we don't come back down and touch the 50% line all over again, as it looks like we're turning the bottom side of this CME gap that we just made into a little bit of some resistance there. Let's see what we got going on in the chat. Yes, DDT, he will cross over. If you'll trade with us, BC, we'll bring you over to the dark side. I doubt that. I'm a Bitcoin maxi, and I don't even hold anything outside of the #1 position on the crypto side of things. So maybe eventually we will get to it if we see some alts ripping like crazy a little bit later in the year. But for now, we're going to stick with that top 20, and that way we can do those long-term trades. Maybe be in a trade for a week together and just take some profits and then enter a whole new trade on a different asset. You know, kind of focus on those big moves together. Let's see. JR saying he'll give me a crossover. We will see. We will see. Them poop coins are just wild rides. Love it. Let's see. Hugo's crypto face of MCB said a couple weeks ago to buy CoreWeave calls for December 26, like 200. Yeah, it's been talked about for quite a while. I talked about it before quite a while ago. So this is one I've been focusing on for quite a while. We got K Diggity. Geeky Girl has me trading some Fartcoin Darren just from lurking in Frankie's trading chat. Nothing crazy, but I kind of like how it moves. I've heard some decent things about Fartcoin. I know it's got some decent liquidity, but I'm gonna stick with what I know, and I know those top 20. There are some newer projects in there, but for the most part, it's got those older projects in there where I really understand how they move. So we'll kind of stick with those for now. Maybe every once in a while we will trade a poopy doopy coin together, but for now we're gonna stick with that top 20. I know many think Richard Hart is a scammer, but does anyone listen to his PDIA decentralized stablecoin stuff? Never heard of him and don't know anything about it. Let's see. ETH should go wild because of stablecoins on ETH, right? Potentially. It really just depends on how much liquidity really stays with them. So potential for Tether. USDC is on everything, so kind of weeds that out as USDC becomes that #1 stablecoin for America. Let's see. We got Ada Ace in the chat. Good morning to you. Let me drop that link to your channel. I don't know if you're doing anything with the morning time, but I heard you're gonna be dropping some new videos about trading on ADA. We've got Duality C in here as well. Let's see, anyone else? Nope. Never heard of that guy, but now I think he's a scammer. Lol, says JR. Goodness. Fartcoin is destined for the top 20, says Kelefant. Maybe. We'll just have to wait. It kind of doesn't bode well to me that all these poopy doopy coins make a brief entrance into those higher the higher spots in the market cap and then really just drop out like they never existed. So I know hype can be a good way to trade, but it's not my way to trade. So if Fartcoin reaches top 20, will you trade it, BC? I guess so. That's my rules. So Kella Lamau blasphemy, says JR. We'll just kind of have to watch it, you know. I was surprised when Sheeb has been holding its top 20 position quite well. Let's get over to some of those alt requests we had. We had Ada first and Solana as well. We can take a look at Circle 2. So let's get Ada pulled up. And my Ada TA has been quite fire, you know. That's why I like those top 20 projects. We talked about holding 57 cents, and we've been holding up 57 cents quite nicely there. After that move back up to 58 cents, almost got that move to 60, where we talked about wanting to see us turn that into some support and then make our way back up to 62 cents. We did not get above 60 cents and hold that as some support. We saw that come in as some resistance, and then we made our way back to 57 cents. So this is kind of why I like to get those top 20 projects. I understand how they move just a little bit better here. We have that MACD and that prime oscillator both looking at some sideways momentum as we continue to see some sideways momentum on the price action. We are just waiting on money flow. I feel like I hammer that over and over and over again, but money flow moves markets. So we'll definitely be watching that money flow here as we go into the morning. We've got that potential resistance all over again at 60 cents as we got that clean bounce off of 57 cents. We do see all of this wick in action in equal candle bodies coming in at about that 60-cent point. So kind of watch for that in this morning move. We got Trade Intuition in the chat. Good morning to you, sir. We said your name and then you appeared. We dropped those magnets for you, and apparently it just pulled you straight over to chat. We've got those magnets. Drop them if you know. All right. Watching for 60 cents on some ADA if we can continue to see some money flow coming back in. Your volume's extremely low here, so just kind of watch on that one as well. You do have this 1 hour and the morning, and the 1 hour and the day looking like you're getting at a nice move back towards the upside here. As we said, watch for that 60-cent point to kind of come into play all over again. We've got all these very equal candle bodies here at 59 cents. So that's going to be a little area that we might have to watch for before we get back above all of this to really grab that top side liquidity here that would be above all of that wicking action. You do have extremely low volume. Your True 7 has clipped out twice here, but you're just waiting on money flow. So kind of looking at some more sideways action unless you can get back above this 60-cent area here for ADA and then turn that into some strong support on something like a 4-hour candle. 1 hour would suffice, but you could probably see that be a little bit weak and come back down to 57 cents if we don't hold it on an extremely high time frame there. We do see that 15-minute and the morning looking a little bit toppy. We do have a few reversal signals that have flashed here. You've got that prime oscillator moving a little bit sideways, but MACD continuing on its way up, and that's where I'd potentially look for that retest of the highs from back here before you see a little bit of resistance, and then maybe if you get that nice liquidity grab towards the upside on Bitcoin, then you can see that move back up to 62 cents on some ADA. That's kind of what I'd watch for. Make sure to watch that Bitcoin price. If we hold up 108,200 and then grab for that top side liquidity, I would look for 62 cents on ADA. If we don't maintain that 108,200 for Bitcoin and we grab some bottom side, look back to 57 cents for ADA. Let's see, BTC looking like it might be breaking through some resistance. We can take a look at that after we get through these other requests here. We had Solana requested. Let's take a look at that one. It's been quite a while since I've looked at some Solana. Looks like it held up 151, which was the price from, I don't know, way back there, because it's been forever since I've looked at some Solana. Let's scroll it on in from way back here in March. So it's been a little while since I've looked at some Solana. We are sitting below that 50% line on our fib retracements and looking for that break back towards the upside if we can get that continuation of some money flow. Money flow breaking back into the red here on the 4-hour and getting that little bit of some curvature back towards the upside. So we could make another bearish divergence here. We'll have to watch that Bitcoin price. Looking like might go grab that top side first here and then come back down, because I am seeing Bitcoin getting that move towards the upside here. Was sitting at 108.200, is now sitting at 108 about 600 there. We do see Solana with a potential resistance area at 151. We've got a little bit of liquidity that would be residing above that at about that $154 mark. So that's that kind of area to watch for. If you get back above that 151, we saw all of that come in as some support here. Saw it be some resistance here. We've got that as a little bit of a battle area to watch for. Let's scroll it on in, take a look at that hourly and see what the day might be bringing our way. We've got that money flow sitting in the red, volume extremely low, but prime oscillator and MACD heading back towards the upside here. Might have to watch for that top side liquidity grab. JR saying short, lol. Well, we will kind of see. I did talk about that potential for some downside action if we don't hold up that 108.200. So those were those two areas I was kind of watching for the morning on that. We do have all of this liquidity that would be residing above us for Solana at 154. Looks like it's trying to make that move back up towards 151. See if we can turn that back into some support. Let's see what the 15-minute and the morning are bringing our way, though. Looking like that 151 might come into a little bit of some resistance for the morning before we really try to find that very, very strong strength. Might come back down, retest the highs from here, where we see 150 coming in as that short-term resistance. Got that nice strong bounce off of it here, looking to potentially continue up to 151. We got that first reversal signal and second reversal signal here. Did those in the opposite order, but we got that money flow breaking back into the green as volume holds quite steady. So just waiting to see if that money flow continues in the green or if it gets that strong curvature like we saw on ADA and rolls back over. So kind of watching where money flow goes for the morning. See with that low volume as well if we can get above that key area on the alts, and if we can at least maintain that key area for Bitcoin for the morning. We had Circle requested. Let's hop over to Circle. And I know that one's, there we go, got it right there. Circle did get that nice double bottom action on the top side of our fib extensions. I did talk about this area from, I believe, a week ago. We talked about wanting to see 174 on that price action. We saw 176, saw 171, saw 176. These were your buying areas around the top side of this fib extension. And now we've broken back in to our CME gap that we made on the way towards the top side. We did see that 2618 being our resistance point, looking to potentially come back up to that 1618, which is close to the top side of our CME gap. Kelefant saying, I bought some Circle. Well, congratulations there. Looking like you got a decent buy on that Circle. We are looking for the top side all over again. So we've got that break back towards the upside on the MACD. We've got your prime oscillator sitting in the red here, but getting some sideways momentum as that selling pressure starts to slow down. Caliphant saying, I wish I bought more. I know that feeling. We all get that sometimes, but you know, I think eventually you'll get that potential to buy some more. We will just have to see if this 1618 comes in as some resistance. If so, I did talk about potentially seeing price come back down to 163. That's going to be that key area in the sand for me. 163 for some circle. If not, we've got that area all the way back down here at about 143 to kind of watch for. That's going to be that first golden pocket on our fib extensions. And if we come all the way down to 143, I would look at closing out the CME gap. That's why I want to see this 50% line on the fib retracements hold. And if not, it's looking like we might close out that CME gap. But for now, it does look like you've got that potential for some continuation at least up to 222, where we saw all of this resistance coming into play. Let's get this pulled on up at that higher term time frame there on the 4 hour, and that 4 hour MACD getting that sideways momentum, printing those smaller red candles on the histogram. Just waiting to see as we get more and more data what happens on the prime oscillator here, because it's just starting to get that curvature back towards the upside here. Not a whole lot of data to really go off of. That's why I've been running off of those fib extensions and our fib retracements for now, as we wait on more history to come in on circle. It has only been around for 21 days, so that does make it a little bit harder to kind of gauge where price action might go. So that's why we use those fib extensions and fib retracements, because you don't even have a moving average here. Here's that 10 moving average for the 4 hour. You zoom that on in to the 1 hour. You've got that 10, that 50, and 100 just starting to print there. So really don't have a whole lot of data to gauge price action off of besides sentiment and those fib levels, which played out quite nicely. That 2618 was that resistance area. I pulled that fib retracement before we even got up to that price point. So it was quite a nice resistance area and came all the way back down to almost our 50% line. And I'd still look for that 50% line if we see some resistance coming in at that 1618 to about the 236, and that's about a $10 price range there, 222 to about 233, which is the top side of that CME gap to the 236 on that fib retracement as that potential resistance before we come back down, and you might get that next stab at some buying, Caliphant. Some is better than none. Fire. Let's see. Enjoying the content, smash the like, support the channel by subscribing and sharing the content. No shilling here, only alpha. I appreciate that. Trade intuition. We got to get you back on here one of these days. You're not up very often this early, but when you are, let me know before I go live, and we can get you on here. Where is username? I know what he wants to look at. Oh my goodness, Jesse, we're not looking at that. No more Libra. No more request in Libra. It is a dead token. We ain't doing this no more. All right. It is 5:28 my time, and almost time to head over to that morning motivational video, unless it's a little bit later. I'm not sure on that one, but I gotta get ready to head to work and probably get told that we're not gonna work because my digital rain gauge said that we got an inch of rain. So maybe keep your eyes out on my YouTube channel, and we'll do something this afternoon. I appreciate everyone tuning in. We've got We've got several people in here that have been lurking in the background, so appreciate all you lurkers. Appreciate everyone participating in the chat. I will see y'all at the next one, of course, and I will see y'all in the rest of the chats all day long, especially if I got the day off work. Yeah, I've got my own YouTube channel. It is BC Port Corp, or BCPC, I think was one of those. Let's see. Let me get that. I guess Blackie Chan _ PC. That's my YouTube. I do a little bit on there, but not as much as I should. And if I can get this new job, I will do a little bit more on my channel. So I will see y'all at that morning market report at 10 a.m. Make sure to ask Piper his thoughts on tomorrow's FOMC, because that's going to be a big market mover for this week, because we don't really have a whole lot of data coming out. I think trading with OC is coming back here eventually. I know he did take yesterday off, so potential for that to be coming back if he's on that morning market report this morning. We've also got markets after dark at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Great place to also learn some TA. So hope to see y'all at that morning motivational video. You will be redirected right over there. Other than that, make sure to wake up, because today is going to be a good day.